Protein, protein. Every place I go, it's protein. Most of the gurus out there are recommending more protein, stay away from carbs. Yeah. Well, if you don't eat carbs, what are you going to eat? You're going to eat fat and protein. And some of the people that are in these low carb movements, they realize fat's not so good for you. So they hit the protein really heavily. You walk into a grocery store, a natural food store, a pharmacy, and what do you see advertised on the labels of products from everything? I'm surprised they don't have laundry detergent advertised as high or low protein. Everything's got and they sell more protein, the better. And so what are you to think? But protein is the most important nutrient for the human being. When I was raised as a child, my parents believed that. They believed that as long as I got enough calcium and got enough protein, I'd be just fine. And so guess what they fed me? Yeah. Guess why I had terrible stomach problems? That's why I lost my tonsils. Guess why I had a stroke when I was 18? Guess why I weighed 90 pounds more than I weigh now? Because my parents believed in calcium and protein. All right, let's start at the beginning. How many cases of protein deficiency have you found? Your sister have it? Your mom? How about your best friend at the bowling alley? They got protein deficiency. They go to the doctor to get some protein supplements to solve their high blood pressure, diabetes, etc. And did you see them cured by taking all this extra protein? Did you? You've never, ever seen dietary protein deficiency. It doesn't exist. The protein requirements for a human being are so low that even in the 1800s, scientists knew that you couldn't design a diet that was too low in protein. But all we do is we fixate on protein. Well, there's a lot of money in protein. Not just in selling high protein foods, which you've identified as expensive foods, like the dairy and eggs and meat, fish and chicken. These are the high income makers, the real profitable foods. Look at the rundown that happens. Look at the downhill benefits financially that occur. Well, you're feeding people high protein diets, so you're making the pharmacies rich and the drug companies rich, and you're making the doctors rich, and all their ancillary personnel, they're getting rich, and the hospitals, they're getting rich. This is a tremendous business generator to lie to the public when they've never seen a case of protein deficiency, yet they're all trying to stamp out protein deficiency by buying all these high protein products. This is detrimental. When you take in enough protein to supply your needs, you got to deal with the excess. You need a little protein. Yeah, a little protein, you got to kind of replace a few hairs and a few skin cells and a few gut cells. And as long as you're not growing, you need a little extra protein when you grow, but not much. It's a tiny bit, just a tiny bit to grow a baby or to grow as a child, just a little bit extra. Always the food meets it. You don't have to worry about it. But after you've supplied these basic needs for protein, which amounts to about a diet of about 3%. We say that again, 3, like 1, 2, 3, 3% of the calories need to be from protein. That's it. All right. But we are focused on high protein foods, diets, products, etc. So we're taking a lot of extra protein. What happens to that extra protein? It has to be gotten rid of because it's not stored. If it was stored, it would be stored in your muscles and you'd have these huge muscles and you'd look like a bodybuilder. Not the case. So it is processed through the liver and through the kidneys and it comes out in the urine. That's where your protein ends up, in the urine. And some of it in the gut, but most of it in the urine, that's where it goes. In the process, you overwork the liver and the kidneys. You create a condition which is an acid condition in the body. We call it acidosis. To neutralize this acidosis, you have to dissolve the bones. And there's the first step in giving you weak bones or osteoporosis. And then the bones which are being destroyed by the acid from the protein. Well, protein has a bunch of acid in it, don't you? Protein made of amino acids. Oh, come on, you've heard about that. So you're eating all this acid, and what happens is you end up not only destroying the bones, but you end up making kidney stones, calcium-based kidney stones. Yeah, you do. And plus, think about the foods that you're being encouraged to eat that are high protein. They're the very foods that you've heard are the source of most of our environmental pollution. That's right. The animal products, because they're high in the food chain, are just loaded with DDT, pesticides, all kinds of poisons from the environment. So you're focusing on those kinds of foods. You're focused on the foods that cause autoimmune diseases. Autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and multiple sclerosis and so on are caused by a confusion that occurs between the animals we eat and the animals we are. A lot of gets confused and it starts attacking us when it should be attacking the foreign food proteins only, but it's not. So you get all these autoimmune diseases. The kind of foods that they recommend are high in fat, high in cholesterol. Well, you know what that leads to, right? Strokes and heart attacks. You know that. And it's low in dietary fiber. And you know the problem there, constipation. So, it goes beyond just the protein, which we isolated out in this discussion. It's the fact that the vehicles that carry the protein around are themselves deleterious. Infections, they carry infection. We catch salmonella and E. coli, staphylococci from other animals because we're an animal. The microbes can cross between animals. We don't catch plant diseases. You don't catch tobacco mosaic virus or Dutch elm disease or aphids. You don't catch those things. Those are plant diseases. So, you're taking on a big bargain when you believe in the protein myth. And besides that, just as an end note, I'll tell you what my challenge is for you. If you develop protein deficiency, by any means except starvation or experimental diet, if you develop protein deficiency on any natural diet, I want you to tell me first, because I want to be the one that reports it to the news, to the scientific journals. Dr. McDougall discovers the first case ever of dietary protein deficiency. Who knows? I'll go down as famous as Louis Pasteur or Semmelweis or somebody else, DeBakey. Discovered a case of protein deficiency.